Now, I think we've kind of like talked about this concept of like these dialogue groups and these normalization groups, and I think that like we're a really cool audience here where it's just like, I don't want to come to the table and like beg you to see me as an equal human being, right? Like this kind of idea that we need to like have coffee and cupcakes, and if we just have s'mores and talk about our issues, and it's like, you like werewolves, I like werewolves, so cool. I just saw this movie, an apartheid wall just fell. Doesn't really work like that now, does it? And there's this nutty idea that it's like white and black people just couldn't get along in South Africa, like one black people just couldn't get along in the Jim Crow South. And the problem is segregation, is privileging one people over another, is power dynamics. This is not about a nation state, this is not about a people, this is not about a religion, but it's about a system of oppression. And it is to say that nobody should live under a system of occupation, nobody should live under a system of apartheid, and nobody should see their families ethnically cleansed. What I love about the people in this room and the conferences and working on BDS is that it is positive, it is ethical, it is anti-racist, and it is rights-based for people's rights. So just to give you an idea of like some of the normalization projects, you see these kind of like, we want to bring Israelis and Palestinians together, and it's like hip hop through peace, and these kind of like, not making any distinction between occupier and occupied, oppressor and oppressed. And especially with the Brand Israel campaign and sending out these global ambassadors, there's this idea of kind of serving as a counterweight to Students for Justice in Palestine, serving as a counterweight to the local campus communities. And what you've seen a lot of these normalization projects in Palestine after Oslo, where they'll take kids from the West Bank, a refugee camp, and then they'll take kids from Tel Aviv, they'll meet together in Jerusalem, and it's like, you like cupcakes? I like cupcakes. This is so weird. Like, oh look, we just bonded. We see each other as humans. Inevitably, what they'll say is that these projects never stopped one bullet from being fired, one bomb from dropping, or one village from being occupied. And inevitably, and often enough, these same kids would go back to Tel Aviv, they would join the army, and they would be the ones bombing our villages. They would be the ones manning the checkpoints. They would be the ones defending the settlers as our children and cousins were beaten on the way to school. So for me, I don't care where you're from, where you were born, what your gender, ethnicity, sexuality is. If you're fighting against systems of oppression, you are an ally. But I sure as hell don't want to fuel and reaffirm state projects that seek to privilege one people over another and are using it for specific propaganda purposes. So this is called Normalize This. It is a love poem as well. I have no more water. Okay. I don't know what, like,